Rated Gen Z, where real talks get real. Each episode dives deep into the minds of 18 to 24-year-olds, exploring their dreams, struggles, and perspectives that most people never hear. We're diving into the chaos that defines a generation everyone talks about, but nobody actually listens to. This isn't just a podcast. This is a generation speaking. Welcome to the Rated Gen Z podcast, Swetha. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just chilling in Portugal on my business trip. I love how I can say that so casually. Like I'm like 22 years old,
Yeah,
but
I'm
it's always,
jealous as a 49-year-old that doesn't have I guess I have a business, but I'm not making any money. So is it really a business?
I mean, like one thing I realized is that like getting paid with experiences is extremely undervalued because even in this business trip, I'm not paying anything. But like,
My goodness. Well, lucky you. So I want to hear more about it because you and I were connected through a mutual connection, and I saw your Instagram. So I kind of have like an idea of what you do, but I would love for you to give an intro and then
okay,
we'll go from
sure.
there.
I'm Swetha, 22, freshly graduated from UT Austin for comp sci. Although some people say that's the least interesting part about me, and I agree. I don't like coding. I'll only go to it if it's my last option. But one thing that I like to say about myself is like I'm someone that likes to take like bite-sized concepts and break it down in a way that's really easy for other people to understand in a very creative way. I'm also good at like seeing like people's potential and being able to help them channel it into something greater. Like I'll tell you more about how I do that in one of my businesses. And I'm also like known for being a go-to person. People can come to me, I can match them with somebody else, like in my network that I know. So like that's just kind of what I've been doing for like my students, friends I know. I'm just like, you would definitely know you and you would get along with you. Like I do that almost every day. But getting into my business is called Get to Skills. I'm one of the Skills. I'm one of the co-owners, and the mission we have for it is every student AI powered. Especially in a world where AI is becoming more and more prominent, we want to make sure that students have the AI skills, digital skills, and human skills needed to go out there, notice problems in their community or the internet, know how they can uniquely make impact on on their community and go ahead and actually do it, like creating their own paid opportunities and paid internships or whatever they want to call it. So basically, this will help them test drive whatever career field they want to. Because if they say like, I want experience in computer science, here's this website or this nonprofit that does not have a website, but I can code one for them. So let me reach out, even though they didn't say they were looking for an intern, and code it for them and potentially get paid to do it, while also seeing if this is a field that I want to do. So like have more students do stuff like that and even believe that they can do something like that. Like that's what I did to get my start in creating paid opportunities, build websites for people, but I was working below minimum wage because no one taught me like how to charge for my work. So that's why I teach students how to like charge for their work in my program too, so that they're not stupid like me and only pay got paid $10 for a full website. I do not recommend that.
My God. Well, I have to say that it's not just the youth. There are plenty of adults that still undervalue their worth and their value for sure. So I feel like it's still an issue across the board. It doesn't matter how old you are. I think like we always have that
Mm-mm.
kind of innate insecurity and that imposter syndrome, if you will.
Great.
But my thing is that it sounds like you're very proactive. Like you're telling these, students, teens, young adults, like be proactive about a job, an internship, which I love because not many people do that.
No, but I think they should though, because for
Yeah.
me at least, if I'm applying to a job on an application that I found like I'm basically 80% screwed. Like it's probably not going to happen because it's like a bunch of other people probably already applied. And from experience, because like the two job interviews I had were ones where the position was not even available on the internet yet, and they were interviewing me. So like, and they already had people that they wanted to go with. So imagine if it was actually published on a job website, yeah, you're done. I mean, unless you know people.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a very great way to go about it. I mean, I feel like now you really have to be kind of a little bit more like creative, if you will, about trying to find internships, getting jobs. I think the competition is so high that, yeah, you got to be able to stand out in some way. So I feel like this is a great way
Yeah.
to do it.
I've never applied on a job board before for anything. And all the money that I made has been online. I've never worked in an in-person job, which is why I was thinking it'd be cool for me to have corporate experience and try, like just so I could like get know what I'm missing out on. but it's really hard to like actively land anything now, especially for someone like me, I guess, who's like more unconventional in terms of my experience. I tend to be passed over for someone who fits the boxes more neater. So we all
Yeah.
struggling.
No, when they say the struggle is real for your generation, it is. I
Yeah,
mean, you guys really have a lot of things kind of against all of you, but at the same time, I have found that you guys still have hope and still
yeah.
are pushing
Like
through and not giving up and being like, we'll figure it out.
like I'm still in this weird paradigm where like I'm obviously in a different continent, like by myself, my first like solo trip for the first time, and brought a friend with me. That's not
Amazing.
something like any 22-year-old can say. I got calls with two people, directors of international schools, which will happen this month, and huge contracts with Hawaii. And but while these are materializing, I can't even land a job. So like just that dichotomy of like
Yeah.
experiences.
I know, and that's what's like, I don't think a lot of people and adults understand. Like, I think that a lot of them are still very antiquated kind of with the way it works. And it's like, no, it doesn't work that way anymore. It's not, just even getting into college. Like before, we didn't have to do that much. We would be able to get in with our grades and our test scores. Now it's like you have to have a whole, curriculum
Yeah.
of like out of, school activities.
That was the 1990s, I think, when all you needed was just to be a club, to found a club, to start a club. And I think that's pretty much, or I don't know, because I think my dad applied to college in the early 90s. Wait, no.
Hello, I am class of 93 high school. So
Oh,
I went to UCLA in 93. So I'm right there in that generation of just,
nice.
like not
Like
having to
it's
worry about it.
my dad graduated college in 92.
Okay.
I'm trying to see how old my mom is. She's like 49. Wait, or
No,
she's
I'm
gonna be 49.
49. I'm
Nice.
49. So she and I are the same age. I'll be 50 in August.
Oh, well, I guess she's gonna be 49 this year.
Okay,
So,
so yeah. See,
yeah.
I'm at that age that I'm now older than a lot of people. Like a lot of my just colleagues and my peers. I'm like, wait, how is this happening?
I don't have the exact experience you have because I'm getting started with stuff, but I'm at the point where like these like up and coming upstart like young celebrities are popping up, and I'm older than a good half of them because they're like 18, 19. I'm like,
Yeah.
come on. I'm like, I've officially expired in terms of like being a celebrity. My chances of being a child celebrity expired. I gotta actually like hard work for it now instead of like
Now
hoping
you're
to.
just gonna have to be an adult celebrity. Now, so AI, okay,
Yeah.
that is something that obviously is a hot topic, especially
Hmm.
with the adults, because once again, antiquated way of doing business and running companies, and now AI comes into play, and everybody's freaking out. Oh my gosh, they're
Okay.
going to take over my job. But I feel like you guys have a different stance and a viewpoint on AI. So I want to
Yes.
hear
Okay.
your perspective.
Okay. I feel like AI is like a very you have to be very nuanced about like how people view it. Like I feel like people who are incredibly pro AI or incredibly anti AI, both groups have not done enough research, I think,
Okay.
because I feel like there's good and the bad. Because like okay, I feel like we need to reach a point. Okay, one thing that's really good about AI, and I can give an example like using my 15-year-old brother. He has all these ideas for things that he wants to do, but he feels like A, he does not have the confidence to actually do it, and B, like he feels like he has to start from ground zero on how to learn the skills to actually get something done. So like
Mm.
because of that, he's been putting everything aside. But because now he knows how to prompt AI and he was the one that was driving the vision behind what he wanted to build, he managed to get a whole website up with like API connections, really complicated stuff, things that I couldn't even do. And he has like zero coding experience. But because he knows how to guide the AI to do everything for him, it's like he did the work himself. The AI just helped him with the specificities. And now because of that, he gets to like talk with my uncle who can help bring this to like an actual reality. And he told me this is one of the first times in which like I had an idea and I suddenly saw it come to life. And I'm working with other students who say the same. AI has helped them like start their dream projects, even help process their trauma if they have any, like through the whole concept of writing a book with AI. Because one girl that my co-founder worked with in Virginia, she had a lot of trauma she went through as a kid, but AI helped her write a book about it as like a metaphor, and that helped her like process it better. So like if AI is used for like a medium in terms of expressing something that you already know about yourself, like I would say that it's definitely good to be used for that. But there are people that are like, nah, I just want AI to just put a bunch of slop on the internet out there for me. I'm not going to do any thinking or prompt it intentionally. I'm just going to put slop out there and pretty much corrupt like good art or good writing. So like there's that other end of it too. But the thing is, you can't have the good without the bad. You can't have the empowered students without the slop. I guess.
True.
I feel like those two are kind of, you can educate people, but there's always going to be people who are like, I'll just have AI do everything for me. But there's also people talking about the negative environmental effects of AI. I'm not well versed in that to speak about it. But the one thing that
I
I will
have
speak
heard
out
of
about
that.
is I'm not going to say too much of an opinion because I don't know enough. But one thing that is a valid claim about the negativity of it is that there are these big AI companies and they're using a bunch of creators' stuff as the training data without compensating them. I feel like the creators need to be compensated. Like if their data is going to be used.
What does that
In
mean?
order,
Can you explain that a little further when you say like when data from content creators is going to be used? Like, what does that mean?
well, I mean, but like creators is like a broad term I'm talking about, like
Okay,
artists, writer, like artists, writers,
right.
things like that, because their training database, like I don't think anyone knows fully where it's from, but it's able to scrape the entire internet. It's able to scrape like artistic works, sometimes even like old documents or like novels. I mean, I don't know how they get all of that and all of that, but a whole bunch of media is put into these language learning models to train them. So I'm thinking it's the least you can do to like compensate like the art that you're going to put in the training data in because like you're using another artist or another creator's labor to make your model better. And it might be spitting out things that reflect their styles because it's in the training data. Unless you talk to the AI well enough that it responds always in your style of writing. Because I've reached a point where my AI actually does do that. It responds like how I talk. So when I'm lazy and I don't want to send an email, I know that my AI can write exactly like me, minus like one or two modifications. But I'm probably just a rare case. I talk with AI a chronically long amount. So to the
Yeah,
point where
no,
I
I
max.
don't. You max your word count or whatever you're allowed to like
No,
prompt it.
I have ChatGPT Premium, so no, I don't. I've only maxed it out twice because Premium gives you a lot. But I only maxed out Premium when I had a coding assignment, and I'm like, you have to give me the correct code. And I was talking to it for 4 hours, but that was the only time I maxed it. But what I'm talking about is like, you know how like you open ChatGPT and you have like a conversation thread or like I maxed out a thread. They're like, this thread is too long. You have to open a new chat to keep talking. Like I've
Yeah,
reached
I've
that
done
point
that before.
like five, six, seven times.
Yeah, I've done that. I have Claude AI and I have the upgraded version, and I've done that just because I've had so much of a conversation with it with my film. And so, yeah, I've exhausted it too as well.
Mm.
But what, so I'm wondering, because with the whole, when you were saying about like artists and musicians and everything, what does a trademark and a copyright doesn't even like help kind of,
I
I'm
wouldn't
curious if that would. And
wouldn't
I knows it
know.
has a copyright or a trademark along with it, if it would know that it's not
I think
like it couldn't use it.
I think we're gonna find out because there's this AI tool called like Suno AI that people can use to create music albums.
That's what I
And I
heard.
think there's a big label that's I think trying to sue them, or I don't know if they're currently doing that because they think that Suno was trained on some of the catalogs from their artists. There are AI influencers too, and that could rip the the influencer business out of business or something. Like if it gets prominence, which I don't think it will, because people follow influencers for their authenticity.
Yeah.
But honestly, one thing that I realized though is like there are a lot of influencers that start out like pretty authentic, but as soon as they get like a million followers, obviously their life will not be the same as it was before. So they're gonna live differently. But then it's like the people who follow them for authenticity, they don't get anything as authentic anymore. So even the whole thing about people following influencers for their authenticity is kind of fake because I feel like it's a parasocial relationship. So what could stop an AI companies from making AI influencers? Who knows? But I guess I don't think an AI influencer will replace me because I'm more of a content creator instead of an influencer.
No, I feel like with what I do too, like I'm okay for now at least.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that my future is still uncertain when it
The,
comes to
the, the one
AI.
the one thing that I learned incredibly early, aka like 2 months ago, is that like no matter what, the good or the bad, it's all temporary anyways. Because I used to have a good business structure until like two out of my three clients just decided to leave me. And then so some of my friends decided to leave me. My degree left me because I finished that. I don't have a job. I barely have any friends. I moved back in with my parents. Like nothing is permanent. Like if you think something's going good or something's going bad, it'll probably change. So
Yeah,
we're
if you told me 3 years ago that when I would move to, I'd move to San Diego and I'd be living with my mom 3 years later and still not like dating anyone and not really having much of a social life, I would have been like, yeah, right. This was my hometown. Like, I'm gonna kill it coming back. Not, no,
okay.
not the same. So I get it.
That's so real. Well, the thing is, like the things that you don't think will happen to you, the world. I mean, at least for me, the world found some crazy way to humble me. Like just because I also said that I would never ever get into a situationship ever. It,
It's complicated.
I mean, like we didn't even get to it's complicated. I'm for like okay, but this dude like literally, I mean, I don't care if he sees this. He tried to lead me on for like 2 months. And
Yeah,
then
that's the thing, the
and,
dating culture in your generation. Yikes.
and I don't know, I think we started out like friends. So like I didn't even think that it would reach like that situationship territory, but I think he decided to make it complicated by blurring the lines and then didn't
Oh,
really do it and didn't even do anything afterward. And then a month later, I just log onto my Instagram after dropping my brother off downtown. And I just the first thing I see is his hard lunch with another girl. And
my gosh.
it's like 5 pictures and he was this dude that's like, I don't post on social media and I don't scroll because I think that everyone has differing opinions. It's just a waste of time. Yeah, and then I'm like, nah, you're lying because like I thought he actually meant that, and I'm like, finally, someone else who understands. But
My gosh, did you meet this person like on a dating app or was this like organic?
I mean, like if I met someone on a dating app, at least I know that the intent is to go dating with them. Like that's the intention of meeting on a dating app. But we
Well,
met
you
in
think you'd
class.
be surprised, girl.
We met in class.
Okay.
It was a computer science class.
All
So
right. Yeah, no, I got on the dating apps for just a little bit when I moved out here because I thought, okay, you know what, maybe that's because
mhm,
I'm in a stage of my life where I don't really want to go to bars or go out to like a lot of
mhm,
things. I go to bed early. I get, I kind of am just like
mhm,
getting old in that respect. I'm still have a lot of energy and fun, but I'm also kind
mhm,
of like an old lady at times. But
yeah.
yeah, I had to
Mhm.
get off of them because it just wasn't working out for me. It got to the point where I started feeling badly about myself. And I'm like, okay, that's where we draw the line. Like, I am a confident person. I like who I am. And then once I was downing all of that, I was like, this is not healthy. So, delete.
Good for you. I've like even when I started thinking about getting apps, I've always felt like icky about it. So I just never got myself to actually do it. And so like I guess like I just spent like 2 years of college being relatively peaceful because like for once in like 10 years I didn't have feelings for anybody and that continued for 2 years. And then I had to ask myself, do I want to break the 2 year streak for this person? And I'm like, sure. But it took me like a month and a half or 2 months to get to that point where I'm like, sure, I'll admit how I'm feeling. And then that was the time where he just stopped talking to me, like right then and there. And I didn't even tell him this. It was a mental realization. And then after that, no more, nothing.
Maybe he could he was telepathic and he could,
Or maybe his ex just decided to hit him up again. Because there's no way that someone can move on that quickly unless like
unless
he
there was
got her
already
lined up.
someone he was
Yeah.
talking to. Yeah, I know. Gosh, I do feel really badly for how you guys have to deal with the dating culture now. Yeah, that's a
Well,
tough one.
I mean, honestly, it's also kind of my fault because I think he just kind of confessed to how problematic he was at the very beginning. But I didn't
He
think that I would
warned
actually.
you.
But I'm like, but I was like, I don't know why you're telling me this. I thought we are just friends hanging out after class. So like that's kind of like I guess like that was my initial reaction because he was telling me his entire relationship history. I'm like, I don't.
Are you someone that's kind of like on that timeline of like you want to kind of start earlier and maybe get married at a younger age or kids? I don't know. Like I'm just curious because like I know for me, I wanted to get married young, have kids young. Like I was very like determined
Mhm.
and was
Yeah.
very intentional. So I met my ex when I was 22, got married to him at 24, had my first kid at 25. So for me, I had a timeline there. So I'm curious if like you have one or if you're just like, oh, whatever happens.
I just realized recently after doing a lot of self-reflection that I have disorganized attachment. So it's like I want love so badly, but I also like run away as soon as it's good. So it's like it's very complicated, like how I operate. So because of that, I haven't even thought that far ahead. I'm just like I don't even know
Okay.
if I can. It's like I don't even know if I can like have a good relationship without messing it up. Like that was what I was thinking
You're
forever.
like a
So
self-sabotager? Is that what it is?
no, it's kind of like okay, this is probably the first. I only realized this like today, but I realized I thought I was a crazy individual, or like I thought there was something wrong with me because when I was like 4 years old, I don't think anyone wanted to like hang out with me at all. So I thought I was like crazy. But I think one thing that I realized is maybe because of my disorganized attachment, I don't know if people can sense energy, but
I
even early
can.
on, I kind of had that energy where it's like I want you to love me and come near me, but at the same time, like don't because I'm worried that if you come close, I'm gonna go, you're gonna go, like so something's gonna happen. So I
Yeah.
think people don't know whether to come to me or leave, or they come to me, but they like orbit around me, but they don't go in because I don't know if they think that they can.
Have
So
you read the book Attached? So I just read the book Attached. I think that would be a good book for you to read because it talks about the three attachment styles: anxious, and then avoidant, and then
uh,
secure. And it talks about like why we attract certain attachments if we're a particular
oh,
one. I think you would
do you
enjoy the book.
do you know if they talk about disorganized attachment? I mean,
No,
technically,
that wasn't one of them. Maybe I don't, but how would you define that? Because they don't talk about that particular one.
okay. So the reason I ask is because disorganized attachment is also called fearful avoidance. So it could also be looped into one of the avoidance.
It's probably looped in. You know what? It's probably like where this book is more generalized with like avoidant, and anxious. So then
Yeah,
maybe there's a book that is more delves deep into the
I
avoidance because I'm anxious.
but, yeah, but because like fearful avoidant is different than dismissive avoidant, which is what we think of when we think about avoidance. Because
Gotcha.
like because like anxious attachment's like the one where like people tend to like project and be more clingy towards the other person. Avoidant is like where they're like get away from me. And
Yeah.
then fearful avoidant slash disorganized is where both happen at the same time. We run both scripts at the same time. That's what it
Okay.
is.
I have
Where it's
found
like
that in myself
where it's
sometimes.
where it's like I don't want you to leave me, but also like give me some space. Like I like why are you leaving me? But also like don't leave me. It's like both like you run both scripts at the same time. And usually people only experience attachment style the majority of the time in their relationships. But for me, I see this in my work, in my business success, in my friendships, in my relationships with my family, in the way that I view myself. It's all from disorganized attachment. Because like there's a reason why I have 40,000 followers, but I'm struggling with clients because followers orbit me just close enough to like help me feel like I'm supported, but they don't commit further because I don't want that. So it's like
I totally get that. Okay.
so it's like keeping someone at arm's length, but like you don't want them to go away, but you also don't want them to like come close to you. It's okay. Another way that I describe this is like almost energy, permanently being stuck in the almost, like almost successful, almost being the one that was chosen for a partner, but ultimately left, like almost like having like good friendships and good family relationships, but you just don't. There's one small thing that's keeping you from there, or like almost like getting the big brand deals that you see everyone else with their follower account getting, but they're not contacting you even though you're close. It's like the whole idea of disorganized is just being like addicted and being attached to that middle, like that almost like not having nothing, but also not having everything, just permanently in the middle.
Oh
So that's
gosh,
kind of where
I
I
can relate to that. It's in so many ways, but like I go to therapy to kind of understand why I kind of do all these things. So, can I ask you, do you see anybody or do you talk to anybody about that and see how you can maybe work on it?
My mom, like at my request and at my consent, my mom's setting me up with a psychiatrist. But I guess my initial intent was I think I have ADHD and autism and CPTSD at the same time, along with disorganized attachment. So I'm like, I think I need to get medicated. I have to see a psychiatrist in order to get prescribed.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna go and ask for medicines, but I'll also like obviously need to talk about like what I'm going through. I think I know exactly like the specific events that led me to be exactly as I am. So I don't think I need to like talk through that. But I think what I do need is like body release, like body and nervous system release to make
Oh,
sure that I let go of it. Because like I know exactly where my disorganized attachment came from and when and why these patterns keep coming up. But for some reason, even though my mind is saying I want to let it go, my body does not want to let it go.
and that is a thing.
Making
But the fact that you acknowledge like where it's coming from already at your age, because how old are you?
22.
That's right.
But
So at least that's like a good step. It took me
yeah,
more years to figure that shit out.
Right, like I like, but like for me, I knew early on, like when I was 2, I was scared of my grandmother, but I didn't know why I was scared of her. But I knew I was scared of her. But I'm like, 2-year-olds are not supposed to be know their emotions like that, or maybe they are. I don't know. But basically, she was a disorganized caregiver or something from the ages of 2 all the way until 6, until when my brother was born. Then she stopped.
I mean,
But
yeah, I
it
mean,
was just
trauma comes in all different shapes and sizes, like I thought trauma had to be something super significant, and now I realize it could be anything, really.
yeah, I feel like something that could provide just enough trauma is being told when you're like 5 or 6, like you're difficult, you shouldn't talk too much, like you should be just like your mom, who's a very perfect individual. I don't know why you're not like her. I'm like, first of all, my mom's a grown woman. I mean, obviously I couldn't say that when I was like 5, but she's a grown woman and I am a child. So
Yeah.
yeah. And because of that, my relationship with my mom was permanently ruined for like 10 years. But because I was constantly told by my grandmother that my mom was perfect. And so I subconsciously was like, you know what? I'm gonna make her life less perfect by trying to pick arguments with her and fight. Like whenever she tried to teach me something, like her help me with homework, so that her life's not perfect anymore. Because of that, I had to repair my relationship with my mom too.
But you guys
So
are in a better place now?
yeah, we are.
Okay,
Because
that's good.
we've taken the time to repair things. But like that has constantly been in my head because I wasn't sure if love. Okay, the whole thing about disorganized attachment is people think that love and fear are like the same thing or like are exist together. So I've never experienced like proper love, which did not come with being scared also, like all the time. So that's something I need to fix.
I know there's so many like nuances to all of it. And I think because as you know, with technology and everything and research, like we're finding out more and more of like why we
Yeah.
react a certain way, why we act a certain
Yeah.
way. And it's really
Uh-huh.
cool. I'm obsessed with learning about all of those things. Like I am constantly watching podcasts with like neuroscientists and relationship coaches and therapists and just understanding dynamics and why we attract certain people and why we repel others. And
Yeah.
I'm just
I,
fascinated by it.
like I always attract the most like craziest people in the sense that they have like the craziest like history like ever. Like this dude that I was talking to that I just told you about. He had the most crazy diabolical history out of anyone I've ever known, and I met so many people in business also who are older because I'm yeah. So I'm like I'm surprised, but yeah. Anyway, I guess connecting this way back to AI. I don't use AI as like a
You're
therapist.
like you're like connecting this to AI.
There's actually a good reason why I'm connecting it
No, I
because the
love it. I
main
want to
reason
hear it.
because the main reason I use AI for, like, not necessarily a therapist, because like I think I could use AI as a therapist only because I'm incredibly self-aware that if AI tells me something and I know that I'm wrong, I telling AI I am wrong. So I want you to talk to me like I'm wrong, and it changes the way it talks. So like I'm good at course correcting it. But one good thing about AI is like it's able to like loop several things together into a cohesive thread that I didn't even think could be looped. So it's like I have all these events that happen in my life, all these things that I'm feeling. Could all of this be connected in some way? And if so, like what are some action steps that I can take like step by step, day one, like to make sure that I'm not caught in these like same loops anymore? And it's pretty good at that kind of thing. Like it's able to it was what helped me tie everything to my disorganized attachment as like my main thing. So like and help me give comprehensive actions to push me forward. And also sometimes whenever I have tea that I want to spill about like gossip, but I have no one to talk to, I don't like just because I don't know who reads these chats. I'm very vague about what happened. I don't use people's names. I either use abbreviations or I don't do anything. It helps me get a lot of stuff off my chest. And it sucks that I even have to use AI for that because I want to ideally gossip with a friend and I'm happier when I talk with a friend over an AI. But like I know people are talking about the male loneliness epidemic. We're in a general human like loneliness like
Yeah.
epidemic in general. Like I guess what like men probably experience it in terms of romantic loneliness, but I've seen women experience it in terms of like we don't have it's hard for at least me and other people to find good friends. Like my friend with me now, she flew over from Ohio to be on this trip with me, and I'm from Texas. But the actual friends I got in Texas, our plans never made it out of the group chat. But she flew over. But we are permanently separated by distance in the US at least.
Well, that's a keeper. I mean, I have downstairs is one of my very best friends that I met my first day in college, and
Hmm.
she's in town and she's here. She's going to drive back home, but she did a little detour. So she's working downstairs. But yeah, we've 32-year friendship. And I have another friend that lives just a couple blocks down that was my roommate in college, my freshman year
Hmm.
and my junior year. So yeah, these
Hmm.
are friendships that are to be forged for a very long
Yeah,
time. So, and you
yeah.
know what? There was a friendship coach that was on Mel Robbins or a friendship therapist, and she was even talking about like female friendships and how they're pretty small. Like people, I think we see like TV and we see movies and we see like, you know, the girls' trips and bridesmaids and all these things. And the reality is that's not the majority of us women.
No,
We have a very
no.
small circle of friends.
And I think like this is something that I'm starting to like realize, and I'm fine with the conversations that my friends and I are having because all of us have experienced heartbreak at the same time. But I feel like in general we're like at least with me and my friends and the people in my age group, we're centering men way too much, and which like we always talk about like the guys we like, the guys we're involved with. As soon as someone gets a boyfriend, they're just gone, or at least we don't hear from them much. and then it's like talking about the wedding, planning the wedding, like that kind of thing. I don't know if guys like women center. They don't. Like they just do their own stuff. They're like,
No,
I'm gonna go
I
out with the
don't
boy.
think so. I feel like it's more sports centered.
Yeah, yes. But it's like as soon as I and one of my friends like decentered men for like 2 years, like we had like the best kind of friendship that we could have. And I unfortunately broke it by again centering a guy. But it's like it's our conditioning. Like
It
even if you're
is.
aware,
We are so
well,
conditioned. It's so true by like just society, just what we see. And
because
yeah.
like I've been talking about like decentering men at least on my socials and talking to my friends going through like shitty guys for like 2 years. I've been like the single therapist that's done with everyone's shit. Like that was my role. And then after that, I got stuck in the same like loop and spiral. Even though I told myself I would not, that would not happen, and I gave people advice, and I didn't go against all of my advice, but I went against some of it. I'm like,
I know, believe me, like I'm sometimes like, girl, I practice what you preach. Cause there are times where I'm always telling my girlfriends, like, why would you let him do this? Or why would you? And then I look at myself, I'm like, okay, I am now in their shoes. I got to talk to myself like I would talk to them. But
that right then and there, like bars. Like you should talk to yourself the way that you would talk to a friend. But a lot of us are incredibly hard on ourselves. We don't think that we deserve much.
yeah.
But it's like there's a reason why like there's so much decentering men content on TikTok, but men don't have to post about decentering women because I think like they already just do their
Because
own
it's
thing.
not but that is
So it's like
so true. And I love how you say that decentering men. Like I never heard that actual concept. So I love that.
I, it's like you can value men. Like I'm not part of the group that's like hate on men. Like even though a lot of them say that they're joking, like there's plenty of good men. It's like
Right.
you should center yourself and have other people be in your life like without like making one person that's not you your center. Because even when I say centering your female friendships, it's multiple. So there's not like one person who's like getting all of your attention. Everyone's just orbiting around each other. That's
Yeah.
fine.
No, but
But
it is an interesting concept, and it's crazy that like every generation I feel like has experienced that. But I do feel like your generation is getting a little bit better also about like decentering yourself and just loving on
decent,
yourself and the self-love and all of those things too. But we
yeah.
can't get caught up in
No,
romanticizing what it means to have a partner and the whole love
yeah.
story.
Cause like whatever I went through for like 3 months, I feel like it was this weird thing where like I felt like I was in a movie, but it also felt incredibly real at the same time. It was like weird. It's like the weirdest people that were like normal that met at like work or school, and
Yeah.
then things just kind of happen. But at the same time, like people should not leave like as soon as things get real. It shouldn't be like we should only hang out when it's fun, but when I'm actually struggling, which I did for the entire month of May, I was basically alone to deal with that like post graduation. And immediately for the whole month of May after that, I knew it was done. As soon as I felt alone, because even if someone says that you're just a friend, you don't leave a friend hanging like whenever they're clearly going through stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like this person didn't even know how to be a good friend.
Well, yeah, and it's a reflection on them, not you. So, you know what I mean? Like that's another thing to kind of remind yourself that everybody has their shit and everybody's dealing with it in a way where a lot of times
Oh,
it's not a personal thing. It's just it's their
oh,
stuff.
one of the other things I learned is just like listen to your body because like I only learned that now because like you're like my body sends me signals. I should listen to what their signals are saying because like I
Yes.
had disorganized attachment, so I thought if my body is flaring up, it could mean that my body is just trying to sabotage something good, and that could be true. But I have to learn how to discern like when my body's trying to warn me against something bad versus when my body's trying to sabotage something good. Like I have to notice like how my body feels for
Yeah.
specific things. But because for like this situation I was in, my body was telling me to run since like early March or like mid March, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
And one time I got like a fever like after hanging out with him one time.
Well, your
And I'm
body
like,
really is very in tuned and yeah, you need to start listening to it more
no,
if
no,
that
no, no, because like I was surprised because all he did was put his arm around me once. And then I just froze up. And then after I went home, I got sick. So it's like
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like I think it was a combination of number one, like not like being used to any kind of physical contact. Number two, him probably being like a shady person.
I
Or
was
I
gonna
mean,
say the energy. Who's to say that it was like it was his energy that really just
I,
did
I,
not
I,
mesh with
I,
yours?
and then third, he just like I mean, you don't like he didn't ask. I mean, I'm fine if you don't ask. I mean, as long as like like did he notice that I froze up afterward? Did he ask if I was like okay? No,
Okay.
he did not. Because I'm pretty sure you can tell like if someone freezes up if you like touch them.
Yeah.
But he didn't do anything or say anything. He just kept it
Yeah.
like that.
No, it's good. It sounds like you dodged a bullet on that one, so you're good.
Yeah, I'm just like if it was like that in the future, would I have to worry about consent? Like that's not something I need to like worry about ideally with the person I meant to be with, you know? So like
All things.
because like the second time it happened, I was fine. I didn't get a fever, but like I still froze.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that just says a lot though. All right. Well, we're like at the ending mark of the podcast. So I didn't know if like there was anything that you wanted to kind of close out with before we end.
Well, I guess one thing that I want to say is like going back to the beginning, I just love like empowering students and just adults to like step into the best version of themselves, and this includes like knowing what makes a student unique and like brushing up on the skills, but a lot of it is emotional work, which I feel is not talked about enough. So I'm glad that we got a chance to talk about things from an emotional standpoint because
No,
that's
I agree. And we should be
yeah,
able to talk about it in a way where we don't feel like we're being judged or like, my gosh, are we like saying something that we shouldn't be saying? I think that we do
mhm.
need to be open about it because it actually is affecting all of us.
And I feel like something that really helps me with the with mindset and taking these bigger steps is to like think of something like as a game because like that's how I went from charging $10 for something to eventually 300 for that same thing. But I was just like, I'm gonna raise it up by two and just see who buys it as a game and see how far is the highest I can go before there's a block, before things stop.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing, and that's what I encourage people to try to do, to put it out there as a game, not to like measure your worth or anything, but just as a fun experiment to see like what's possible. That's kind of the philosophy behind me putting a lot of my work out there, is just to try it as a game and see like, well, I mean, game is probably not even the right word because there's winners and losers sometimes, and I don't play by those rules, but just maybe an experiment.
I was going to say
That
more
could
of an
be,
experiment and experience, all of those things. Yeah. Why
yeah.
not? I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I know it is late for you. I know you need to grab some dinner. I need to grab
Uh,
some lunch.
it's such an adventure, and
Yes,
and like we should definitely talk more outside of the podcast too. I feel like we'd like get along pretty good.
absolutely.
Thanks again.
If you enjoyed this episode and you're between the ages of 18 and 24 and would like to be a featured guest, go to rock.vision.